And I know that there's different cultures who, when their family members age, they feel responsible to bring them into the home and take care of them. Or even if they're not aged, they just feel like forever indebted to take care of their parents. While that is nice and honorable, the Bible, if for those of you, if you're not a Bible person, you can dismiss this part, but it does let us know that you are supposed to cleave and leave your parents' house, and you're supposed to build your new house. And the goal is that your parents built and took responsibility for building their home, and now they're going to grace you the energy, the finances, the emotional support so that you can build your own home. So there has to be an understanding, and there needs to be a conversation about the unity of the home, because you can't have that unity, that functional unity, when you're fragmented and when you're trying to fix or you're trying to create your house to look like your family of origin. So again, we talked about divorce, and I'll just go through it again. It disrupts the foundation of a family. It breaks unity, trust, and it breaks down in communication. There's no conflict resolution. There's usually anger and fighting and attacking. And we see that with Susie as she's attacking Bob. She probably got that model from her parents. And she also threatens divorce whenever there's an issue, because in her subconscious, she remembers that her family fought and the end result was divorce. So that is one of the challenges for those who have experienced divorce, because they feel like every conflict is possibly going to lead to divorce. So the fear and the anxiety associated with that makes conflict a very high risk involvement. So there's a lot of emotions around it, and it creates this fear of unity, because if you saw your parents divorce, you may think that can happen to me. We talked about role confusion, triangulation, unhealthy attachment, and how that impairs the security of the connection. We see it. This family was filled with fear. They had jealousy. You know, if you love me, you'll take care of me. And why did grandma leave you the house? So jealousy always creates a fragmentation in the unity. And we see that when people pass away and they're left gifts or they're left money or they're left things, families go into disarray. And it just seems to blow a hole in the family system, because families feel like, I deserve this, and why are you getting that? And why do you have that? And so that becomes a really difficult thing to recover from. If there is a legacy of jealousy and then someone passes away and the resources are not distributed equally, that becomes a challenge. And jealousy in families also blow a hole into the family, right into the center of the family, because everyone wants to feel important. Everyone wants to feel validated. And so we have to be careful that we are not setting up systems of jealousy in families where you're the responsible one. How come you can't be like your sister, Susie? She's so responsible. She takes care of everyone. She gets along with everyone. Or why are you the problem maker? Or why are you the divorcee? Or why are you the one on drugs? Or why are you the one who's sensitive? We have to be careful of how we compare, because that invalidates, meaning that you don't respect and you don't see, hear, and understand the other person, and they don't feel significant in the family role, and that causes division, and that causes, it creates a lot of chaos. Most families are broken up because of jealousy, and jealousy just means I don't feel connected. I feel disconnected. You've made me feel like I'm not a part of your achievement. I'm not a part of your accomplishments. And so it creates the inferiority complex, and it creates separatism. So when we celebrate together, then we're able to reduce the jealousy. And then in an unhealthy attachment style where there's insecurity of connection, there's resentment. There is lots of resentment because of the jealousy, because you left me out, because you didn't support my children, because you brought this for my kids, my children, and you didn't buy that for my children. Or You support them in their events, but you don't support me in my events. Those are all enemies of the connectedness of the family. And then there's the isolation piece where people, if they don't feel included and validated, they'll just disconnect. Like I mentioned before, they'll just disengage. And the challenge with that is that we want to be able to feel the love, because when we feel the love and feel support, then we're at our best as a unit. Dr. Henry Cloud talks about how people connect to their network, and this is really important. He gave 4 different examples of how people connect, and he called the first one as people don't connect because they feel isolated. Maybe they felt not good enough, and they felt like, no one sees them, hears them, or understands them. So they don't feel a part of the unit. No one celebrates their accomplishments. So they say, you know what? I don't need this family business. I'm going to be the Lone Ranger. I'm going to be the Maverick, and I'm going to do life by myself, right? And this is why I don't do family. This is why I don't do people. And so you have that breakdown of the isolated, lonely person. And then in the other corner, you have the person who connects with the family, but it's a bad connection, because whenever they're with the family, they feel worse. Someone's got a new car. Someone's bragging about this. Somebody's child just graduated from college and your child is on drugs. And so being with your family may make you feel inferior, and it may make you feel worse, and it may make you feel less than, or it may make you feel like you're the broke one, or you're the troubled one, and your kids are the problem starter. So you stay connected, but you have this disconnection because you don't feel like you belong. You don't feel valuable. You don't feel like you have anything positive to contribute, and you're not getting anything positive except for being connected. And then there's the third style of attachment, which is the pseudo connection. And this is really big in our society because we have social media, because we have Friendsgiving. And I get it. Sometimes if you don't know your family of origin, or if you can't be with your family of origin because you're in the military, I understand the Friendsgiving. But it is a healthy way to do all you can to stay unified with your family. And you may have to set boundaries, and we'll talk about that. But to completely give up on your family, you're going to have the same issues with your friends and with people you adopt. And in the third category of pseudo connections, or you have like these false connections of internet friends and friends at work, or you have this connection with things, like your job becomes the thing that you feel connected to, or food becomes the thing you feel connected to. You're in this relationship so that you don't, because as humans, we all need our family, because no man is an island. Quantum physics lets us know that no particle is independent. So what affects one particle affects the other particle. It's called the quantum physics law of entanglement. So no one is an island. And we have studies of that where people have hurt themselves, twins, and another twin can feel it, because we're all interconnected. We are one blood. We're one particle in various ways, but we're interconnected, right? So we need each other. So people set out to have connections with their dogs, have connection with their items, their toys, their cars, their vacations, whatever it is that gives them a sense of connection. They begin to have connection with inanimate and inappropriate things, even sexual things that make them feel good. Because remember, the unit produces oxytocin. When we're in fellowship with each other, it is a chemical stimulation that makes us feel loved, safe, and secure. And when we feel loved, safe, and secure, it cuts off the part of our brain. Well, it kind of blocks the fear responding of the amygdala, because we're just so happy, joy. And so unity in family is for health. It is for our health. And so to replace it with something that's pseudo, there's always something that comes with it. Drugs, there's financial, mental problems, emotional problems. So all these things that people try to connect to in spite of, to meet the needs, to get the dopamine drip of feeling connected and feeling loved and feeling accepted. We all need to feel accepted. And so we seek sometimes the pseudo relationships. But what we need to seek is section 4, which is a spiritual connection and a healthy connection with our family members and with other people. Because remember, we learn how to socialize in the context of family. In our families of origin, we learn forgiveness, we learn patience, we learn kindness, we learn validation, and then we take those skills and share them with the world. So we need healthy connection. And we don't like to admit that, because in our society, being Westerners, we really preach and promote individuality. But in some cultures, their last name is their first name. In the Japanese culture, I believe it is, their last name is their first name, meaning that they have a dependence on the unity of the family, because together they understand that there's the likelihood of survival. There's a likelihood of being financially resourceful. And so together, there's always more of a benefit. We get more when we function under the guise of connection with family members and with God.